Lord, I suffered through the years and shed so many tears.
Watch out.
Hey, yo, boy! Yo, come see me, man!
Shot
That's
several
Mud's
times.
place.
Encountered by police while leaving the scene of this horrible crime.
You didn't have to shoot him, man! He made a move! He ain't made no f***ing move, man! He did! Lying, man! I was looking right at you!
What do you write about?
Where was in my heart?
And what's that?
Poet with a punch, the legend, the myth, the Gemini king of chaos and consciousness, Tupac Amaru Shakur. When I say this man was the full package, talent, trouble, poetry, and petty drama, I mean it. And even though he's been gone since '96, his name stays hotter than a summer in Death Valley. Grab your do-rags, your nose rings, and maybe a candle, cause we're diving into the titan that is Tupac. And trust me, this ain't your dusty old history lesson. We're spilling the tea, the whole damn pot, with a side of lyrical genius. Though his poetry was insightful, his final words, according to a Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officer, were less poetic and more defiant. Oh, you feel that? This one's about to get wild. Born LaShawn Parrish Crooks on June 16, 1971. Yes, that was his government name. But at just 1 year old, his mama, Afeni Shakur, a whole revolutionary in her own right, renamed him Tupac Amaru Shakur. And this name had meaning. Tupac Amaru comes from the last Incan emperor, bringing all the main character energy. It means shining serpent. Yeah, it's given I'm here to shake up the world. And Shakur, that's Arabic for thankful or appreciative. Oh, and get this, he was born just a month after Afeni was acquitted of conspiracy charges as part of the Panther 21. He came out of the womb already beating cases, folks. Born into fire, raised in the revolution, no wonder he had so much to say with so little filter. Now, before Pac was yelling, "All eyes on me," all eyes were on him in the theater. Yup, Tupac was out here studying ballet at the Baltimore School for the Arts. He even played the Mouse King in the Nutcracker. Can you picture little Pac in a tutu and crown, pirouetting with precision? I'm screaming, but I'm also standing. While at school, Tupac linked up with none other than Jada Pinkett. Yes, that Jada. And their friendship was deep. Like, he wrote poems for her, including Jada and the Tears in Cupid's Eyes. That's deep. Like, deep, deep. Jada even turned down a movie role because the director and Tupac had beef. Oh, the drama. Tupac was already that guy in the rap game at 13. And no, not just NWA and Public Enemy. He was vibing to Kate Bush, U2, and Sinead O'Connor. Picture this, Tupac nodding to Wuthering Heights like, yo, this kinda slaps. And he loved Shakespeare too. Said he related to Romeo and Macbeth because they were passionate and dramatic. Basically the original rap beef kings. After his artsy, tutu-wearing days in Baltimore, Tupac moved to Marin City, California, and started mingling with the local hip-hop scene. He went by MC New York, not Cali, not West Side. MC New York. Duality at its finest. Then came 1990 and Tupac linked up with Digital Underground. He started as a roadie and backup dancer, but they quickly realized this kid had fire. He jumped on their hit Same Song and boom. The artist formerly known as MC New York became Tupac Shakur. In 1991, he dropped Apocalypse Now and the world wasn't ready. Raw, bold, unapologetic, he was calling out police brutality, poverty, and all the messy truths people didn't want to hear. Brenda's Got a Baby? Heart-wrenching. But of course, it stirred up controversy, and people in very high places were clutching their pearls talking about this album is a menace to society. Sir, please, let the artists speak their truth. By 1993, Pac was on fire with his second album, Strictly for My and came through with an even rawer sound. He gave us I Get Around, the anthem we didn't know we needed, and Keep Your Head Up, a powerful, uplifting track for women everywhere. And let me just say, Strictly for My Niggas went platinum and sold over 1.3 million copies by 2004. The man knew how to make moves. Also, the whole niggas thing wasn't just for flair. It stood for Never Ignorant, Getting Goals Accomplished. Pac was on some next level branding, mixing street smarts with wisdom. Thug life, the hate you give little infants, fuck everybody. Y'all, that's some serious social commentary. In late '93, Tupac formed Thug Life with his crew, dropped Thug Life Volume 1 in '94, and hit us with Pour Out a Little Liquor. But guess what? The album was originally too hot for critics, so they reworked it. Still, Pac kept pushing, even performing an unreleased track Out on Bail at the '94 Source Awards. Because even when the industry tried to dim his light, he stayed 10 toes down. In 1994, right before Above the Rim dropped, Tupac was shot 5 times during a robbery at a New York recording studio. And here's the thing, he survived. But Pac didn't come out of that just bruised. He came out paranoid, pissed, angry, and convinced that people he trusted were in on it. And that's where the drama really begins. See, around this time, Tupac and Biggie Smalls were actually tight. Yup, friends, not foes. Biggie even asked some random drug dealer to introduce him to Tupac. Pac brought Biggie on stage, they recorded tracks like Running from the Police, and rumor has it Biggie even wanted Tupac to manage him. But Pac, ever the visionary, told him straight up, "Nah, Puffy's your guy." Still, it wasn't an equal friendship. Pac was living a Hollywood life while Biggie was still climbing. Tupac even invited him to join Thug Life. But Biggie went on to form Junior Mafia with Lil' Kim and Lil' Cease. Then bam, that quad studio shooting, that shattered everything. And so Tupac didn't think it was just a random hit. He felt betrayed, like people close to him had set him up. And that right there was the beginning of one of hip-hop's most infamous beefs. While all this drama was unfolding, Tupac dropped his third album, Me Against the World, in March 1995. From behind bars, y'all. That's right. Pac was out here making chart-topping hits in a jail jumpsuit. He became the first artist in history to have a #1 album while locked up. Legends move different. Now let's not skip over why he was in jail. In 1993, Tupac was accused by Ayanna Jackson of sexual assault involving multiple men. He was acquitted of sodomy, but convicted of sexual abuse for groping and sentenced to prison. Tupac always maintained his innocence, but it was one of the most complicated chapters in his life, and he felt betrayed by the system. But that album, Me Against the World, it was like Tupac dropped his diary and said, "Here, cry with me." It sold 240,000 copies in its first week, which was record-breaking for a solo male rapper at the time. Dear Mama had thugs hugging their mamas, crying in lowriders, and reevaluating their life choices. So many tears hit hard. And Temptations? The video had more celebrity cameos than a 90s award show because Pac couldn't be there. And the Soul Train Awards even came through with a trophy while he was still doing time. Locked up, but still booked and busy. Then came the plot twist. All Eyes on Me. Pac signed to Death Row Records and didn't just drop an album, he dropped 2. All Eyes on Me was the first double album in hip-hop history. California Love and How Do You Want It were straight-up bangers. And he came through flexing, giving us Versace bandana realness. The album sold 566,000 copies in its first week, and by 1998, it was 9 times platinum. By 2014, diamond status, baby. Oh, and let's not forget the diss track of all diss tracks, Hit 'Em Up. Tupac came for everybody on that one. Biggie, Diddy, Mobb Deep, the whole Bad Boy crew. That was when the East Coast versus West Coast drama really hit a boiling point. The track became the anthem of the rivalry, and it solidified Pac's spot in hip-hop history. All Eyes on Me wasn't just a hit, it was hip-hop history in motion. The album snatched R&B, soul, or rap album of the year at the '97 Soul Train Awards, and Tupac was crowned favored rap hip-hop artist at the American Music Awards that same year. And the numbers? It hit 9 times platinum by 1998, and by 2014, boom, diamond status. That's 10 million copies sold with receipts to prove it. And look, Pac stayed booked, but not just in the studio. This man had more court dates than red carpet ones. In 1993, he shot 2 off-duty cops in Atlanta. Yes, you heard that right. But charges were dropped when it turned out the officers were the aggressors. Plot twist, right? Before that, in 1991, he sued the Oakland police for brutality and walked away with $43,000. Then there was that tragic moment in 1992 when a gun registered to him accidentally killed a 6-year-old. His estate ended up settling with the boy's family. And let's not forget when he straight up assaulted Allen Hughes, the director of Menace to Society, and did 15 days in jail for it. Tupac was out here collecting misdemeanors and weapon charges like Pokemon cards, and he even got sued by C. Dolores Tucker for his lyrics. But that case, dismissed, because freedom of speech stays undefeated next to those platinum plaques. And don't get it twisted, Pac didn't just rap. He had legit acting chops, from Juice
If you gotta go out, that's how you go out. That motherfucker took his destiny in his own hands.
to Poetic Justice with Miss Janet.
Oh, so you one of them angry your son?
A feminist.
What you call me?
Tupac was versatile, and had his life not been cut short, who knows? Maybe we'd be talking about him as an Oscar winner by now. Tupac's love life was just as complex as his lyrics, from Jada Pinkett to Madonna to Lisa Left Eye Lopez. He had whirlwind romances. He married Keisha Morris while in jail, but the marriage was annulled after his release. But his true love, Kadada Jones, daughter of Quincy Jones. They were engaged when he passed, and she called him the love of her life. Now, if Tupac's life was a movie, the last act was full-on action thriller, drama, danger, and plot twist galore. So buckle up, because the night of September 7th, 1996, that's when everything went from zero to wait, what? Real quick. On September 7th, 1996, Tupac was in Las Vegas with Suge Knight to catch the Mike Tyson versus Bruce Seldon fight. After the match, in the MGM Grand Lobby, Tupac and his crew got into a fight with Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, a known Southside Compton Crip who had allegedly tried to rob a death row affiliate earlier that year. Security footage caught the beatdown. Later that night, Tupac and Suge were cruising down Las Vegas Boulevard in a black BMW when they were pulled over by cops for loud music and missing plates. The plates were found in the trunk, so they were let go. Just 15 minutes later, while stopped at a red light, a white Cadillac rolled up beside them and shots rang out. Tupac was hit 4 times, including once in the lung. Suge was grazed in the head. Tupac was rushed to the hospital and placed on life support, but he died 6 days later on September 13, 1996, at 4:03 p.m. He was just 25. His death sent shockwaves through the world, and conspiracy theories ran wild. In 2023, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was arrested in connection with Tupac's death, and his trial is set for 2026. For now, he's still behind bars. After Tupac's death, things took a turn for the bizarre and the legendary. Some of his Outlaws crew, in what can only be described as the most Tupac way possible, decided to mix his ashes with some marijuana and smoke them. Yeah, you heard that right. The ultimate tribute, right? Smoking the essence of Tupac himself. Talk about going out in style. Before he passed, Tupac recorded the Don Killuminati, the 7-Day Theory, in just 7 days. He wrote and recorded it in 3 days, and the rest took 4 days. No big deal, just one of the greatest albums of all time coming together in under a week. The album dropped posthumously, and oh boy did it hit hard. It shot straight to #1 on the Billboard charts with the second highest debut sales of that year. Some fans say it's the perfect mix of hurt, rage, and I'm gonna make you feel my pain. With lyrics so raw, it's like Tupac was speaking from beyond. It was so iconic that by 2006, people were calling it a classic. MTV even ranked it #9 on the list of hip-hop's greatest albums. And just to really drive home how Machiavelli was a game changer, the album went 4 times multi-platinum by 1999. Tupac was gone, but his music, it was everywhere. And honestly, it was kind of like his mic drop from the afterlife. Now here's where it gets even juicier. Tupac's alter ego, Machiavelli, was inspired by the famous philosopher Niccolo Machiavelli, who was all about faking your death to outsmart your enemies. Yeah, you can probably see where this is going. Tupac basically gave the world an open invitation to start all those conspiracy theories. Could Tupac still be alive, living somewhere in hiding like the ultimate plot twist? Well, with a name like Machiavelli, he definitely left people with a lot to talk about. In 2006, on the 10th anniversary of Tupac's passing, his ashes took a trip to Soweto, South Africa. Afeni, his mom, packed up his remains and sent them to the birthplace of his ancestors for a memorial service that was as legendary as Pac himself. Imagine that, Tupac, the man who once rapped about changing the world, getting a proper send-off in one of the most iconic townships in South Africa. Talk about a full circle moment. From West Coast hip-hop to the heart of South Africa, Pac's influence and legacy were truly global, leaving his mark on not just music, but on the spirit of revolution everywhere. Tupac was a force of nature, a poet, an actor, a leader, and a myth. He didn't just make music, he changed the game. And that legacy, still stronger than ever. All eyes on him forever. Tupac Shakur was more than a rapper, more than an actor, more than a thug life tattoo. Tupac was a revolutionary wrapped in a bandana, loud, brilliant, flawed, and unforgettable. But here's the wildest part. When Tupac died in 1996, his net worth was estimated to be only around $200K. Yeah, $200,000. For a man whose music was everywhere and whose image was worth millions, why so low? Well, blame it on shady contracts, legal fees, bail money, and the fact that Suge Knight wasn't exactly handing out financial literacy pamphlets at death row. Tupac didn't own most of his masters, and a lot of the money was moving around him, not to him. Adjusted for today's money, that's about $400,000. Still crazy low for someone whose estate has since made over $40 million after his death. Ain't that something? But money aside, Tupac left a legacy richer than any bank account. And whether he's chilling in Cuba or watching us from the stars, one thing's for sure, the world ain't never been the same since Tupac Amaru Shakur stepped on the scene.